Okay, this video is about the static math class. I don't know why I'm so tired. I don't usually get this tired. So if I'm low energy, that explains it. So math is a static class, which means you don't instantiate it, or you don't need to anyway, and you can't in this case. So I just started with that. Static classes means you don't really need to, do this kind of thing. You don't have to create an instance of the object. You don't have to instantiate it and then use it. You can just sort of use it. But the syntax for that is, let's show that. I'll do it with the console.writeLine. Again, think of this as like a cout or a system.out.println. I'm going to cout math.pow, for example. Let's do 2 squared, something easy. I've got a dog outside who's going to make everybody bark. Hold on. I really need a recording studio. Okay, so when you run this, it just automatically exits because you didn't do Control F5. So Control F5 is how you run these. If anybody's following along and doing console apps with me, you don't have to, but if you are, the reason I'm doing them, in some ways they're more flexible because you don't have to do all the setup for the GUI and make things fit into that. It's more like just doing a Java program, command line. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Anyway, you see the results 4 because the 2 to the second power is 4. 2/3 to the third power. 2 cubed is what? You guys should memorize these. 8. What's 2 to the 10th power? Anybody? You. Kind of missed that. Roughly 1,000, right? 10,000. 1,024. 1024. You guys who had me before know I always try to get you to memorize this kind of rule of thumb. It's very convenient for you. 2 to the 10th is like your kilo range or kibbe, depending on, it's real technically kibbe because it's powers of 2. And then this is roughly 1 million, so a little over 1 million when you go to the 20th. So that's what the mega zone, right? Or megabytes. and so on. And to the 30th is a little bit. It's a bit over 1 billion. Control F5. It's a rule of thumb that you can use. So 10 to the 3rd, 10 to the 10th. Not exactly, but approximately. 10 to the 6th is 2 to the 20th. 10 to the 9th is 2 to the 30th, and so on. Anyway, that's what math's used for. There are a bunch of other ones. I think you guys can look it up. I don't really want to go into detail on this because it's stuff you've seen before. First of all, I think it's the same way you do it in Java, if I remember right, and also the C and C++ library has a math library, math.h. So, I swear to God, I need a recording studio. Too many dogs. So I won't go into too much detail. Just make sure you know how the rounding works versus the floor and the seal. Right. I mean, just one more example real quick. Console.writeLine. Math.seal of, ceiling, apparently. 2.3. That should take you up to 3. I did it again. Control F5. And you see that is what we get here. Floor would always round. Basically, ceiling always rounds you up in quotes, and floor always rounds you down in quotes. Rounding maybe not being the precisely accurate term there, but that's the way people say it. And then there's round itself, which is there's an algorithm. If it's more than halfway, it goes up or whatever. So double check those. And there's a bunch of other stuff. Well, here's what you do. You see what all's in the math library this way, right? Math dot. And you can see there's trigonometric stuff, max, min. So you can have a series of things. Square root, of course. This is log base 2 probably, and this is log base 10. So log, actually log, let's say base 2. Yeah, it's base E, I'm sorry. It's the natural number. I'm often thinking log base too because of programming, but log base E is also useful. Yeah, so just that's what math is used for. And again, the syntax is just to use the class name. It's a static class, so you just use the class name as if it were an instantiated variable of that type. But you don't have to instantiate, so you just type math dot, and then you can do things. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, right? It's a little over 5 minutes. I think that's more than enough for the math library, honestly. It's something you can reference on your own. Just a little note. Maybe I'll make this note elsewhere to make it clear. The videos, I try to give you as much of a like sketch of what you need to know from, let's say you didn't read the book like you should, right? Or at least the slides. I try to give you like at least a very one coat of paint on that. And then, what I try to do is, in addition, like, why even make the video? You should just read the book, right? I like to think that maybe I can explain things in a way the book doesn't, in a more human way maybe. But also, I like to add things that are related closely, or things that I feel like might give insight into the thing. That's my whole point as a teacher, I think, is to like stand and point, right? Hey, look, this is the way I see it. So some of you might get annoyed with that a little bit. If you do, you don't have to listen. You don't have to watch the videos. But I hope it helps some people get in some insights. So for this example, right, you can just look in the book on this. There's not much more I can tell you about it. I did add the whole thing about powers of 2 and powers of 10 and how they're sort of a rough rule of thumb when you're working in the IT industry. But aside from that, I'm done. I extended this by a couple minutes with that, so I apologize. I'll see you in the next one with string stuff, I think.